All right, all. Oh, I got some sweet tea on my shirt. Anywho, we're going to get started. Let's continue on with nuts, grains, seeds, pasta, all that fun stuff. So let me share screen with you. Got few good slides for you. We're going to keep going this for a while because basically we're halfway through. Just give you an idea because there's so much to go. We're going to do corn probably over the next the next whole presentation will be just corn. So let me go to slideshow. Okay, so continuing on, another seed is called flax. So flaxseed, you've probably heard of these. They're starting to be more prevalent now. Like they realize what they're good for as far as like nutrients and protein and all that good stuff. They're tiny oval seeds. You see them here. Mild nutty flavor. They produce linseed oil used in baked goods, hot and cold cereals. They're in a lot of stuff now where you can add it to it. So they'll add them to different breads, different cereals. They realize that wheat's not the only grain that's out there, and seeds have a lot more packed nutrients than a lot of grains. Okay, seeds just have a lot, like sunflower seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds. They're realizing how good these things are for you. And just like you saw that last one, how pistachios are actually a seed, not a nut. And pound for pound, they're just way better for you. So these are getting more and more prevalent as time goes on. So with that, you'll see these a lot more. If you read a lot of ingredients, especially organic products, you'll see flax seeds put in there. Okay, poppy, tiny black and blue seeds. They're crunchy, slightly musty flavor. Used to fill and top baked goods and salad. It's used in like honey poppy seed dressing or lemon poppy seed, whatever. And they're also used in European, Middle Eastern cuisine. Poppy plant is actually one of those plants they use to make drugs too. So it's very regulated, and we use it for food, but it's used for other things as well. It has a weird, like a specific flavor to it. You'll see it on a lot of like rolls, poppy seed roll or muffins. They'll put it on top of bread sometimes, or like hamburger buns, but those are the poppies. All right, pumpkin or pepitas, pumpkin seeds, small, oval and flat, cream colored hulls, greenish brown, oily interior. This is the part you want to eat. Okay, this thing out here is not very tasty. They do have a really good flavor though. Available whole or hulled, usually salted, eaten raw, roasted, sweet and savory dishes, popular in Mexican cuisine. These are really good if you can find a store that sells these where the greens are roasted and salted. They're very tasty. It's probably one of my favorite seeds. And then also making a pesto with it. We talked about pesto before, blending up your pine nuts and then adding those. You can do those with the pepitos too, and they're really, really good. Just blend this up. You can do like a Latin style, God, it just popped in my head. A Latin style pesto where you do lime, like guajillo cheese or whatever cheese you want to use. Or not guajillo, I'm sorry. Cotija, I think it's pronounced. Cotija, guajillo is a pepper. You can grind these up, a little bit of lime, cilantro, cheese. If you want to put garlic in there, whatever you want, but it makes a really good pesto as well. Okay, another one is sesame. Sesame seeds, which you see down here, usually what you see on top of hamburger buns, like McDonald's hamburger buns. On top of McDonald's hamburger buns, that's what a sesame seed is. They're usually black, red, or tan. There's different colors of them. There's white. They use them in a lot of Asian style cuisine too, because it's got a really predominant flavor. So they'll roll sushi in it. European style, they put it on top of bread. Middle Eastern is what they use. You make a tahini. So I'm gonna watch this or show this video to you about what tahini is. But if you've ever had hummus, tahini is a predominant flavor in that. And then she kind of goes over a couple other things you could use tahini for, but it's basically ground up sesame seeds. So let's watch this.
Tahini is a potent paste made by grinding toasted sesame seeds. It's a core ingredient in hummus, and it's delicious when mixed with lemon juice or yogurt and drizzled over grilled vegetables, kebabs, and meats. And today, Jack's going to tell us which supermarket brand of tahini tastes best.
Yeah, so this is going to be fun. There's only one ingredient here.
Fun.
Yeah. So there are two things you need to be paying attention to. The intensity of the sesame flavor.
Okay.
Two variables. One is how much it's been roasted, and there is such a thing as too much roasting because it can get a little bitter. The second thing is we found that some of the brands are using the hulls and not removing them. And those hulls have some bitter compounds called oxalates. Same thing that's in spinach.
Okay.
And again, it makes it a little bitter. Not a horrible flaw, but a slight flaw.
All right.
The other thing is consistency, which is actually probably more important. Some of them we could stir and stir and stir, and we still had trouble getting the oil back incorporated, and so they were a little stodgy, lumpy, grainy. Others were creamy right from the jar. That's a good thing in the hummus because it makes a really silky, buttery, velvety, luscious texture in your hummus.
Never eaten it straight before.
Yeah, well, it's honestly it's the same thing as natural peanut butter, except instead of made from peanuts, it's made from sesame seeds that have been roasted. It's pretty strong. I'm not necessarily suggesting we put this on sandwich bread with some jelly.
Not yet.
I'm with you. I think it's actually better drizzled over, some kebabs with some lemon juice mixed with it.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, then it's really a great pantry item because you can make a sauce really quickly from tahini.
Well, this one right off the bat is much thicker than the other two, and it looks grainy compared to the other ones, which are very smooth.
Anything that was grainy right out of the package ended up making a slightly grainy hummus.
I feel like a dog you just gave peanut butter to.
Are you noticing any flavor differences
Yeah.
between these three?
Oh yeah, this one has a very off-putting flavor. You mentioned spinach earlier, and this one has some spinachy notes to it. Also, the texture really did taste a bit grainy. So this one was my least favorite.
Okay.
This one, and you can even see the two different colors, those colors actually kind of look like what they taste like. This one tasted very dark and almost over roasted. This one, nice and smooth, had a very clean sesame flavor. So I actually like this one.
And you must like it. Even though you've decided you're going back and having more.
Yeah, it's actually delicious.
Yeah, let's start with what you liked and see if your preferences lined up with the tasting panel.
All right.
You chose the winner. This is the Ziyad. It has just this amazingly creamy texture. You give it 2 stirs, oil's incorporated, ready to go. It's a good sesame flavor without any of those bitter oxalates or the spinach notes, as you refer to them.
All right, next was this one.
Yeah, so this is the Joyva, middle of the pack. It's
Yep.
fine. It just seemed a little over roasted to us.
And last, and definitely least in my opinion,
And
this
this
guy.
was at the bottom of the rankings, Woodstock, and this was really a textural problem. It was really kind of gritty, and it did not get better once we started cooking with it.
So there really are big differences in flavor between store-bought tahini and the favorite Ziyad tahini sesame paste that costs $7.59.
All right, so you guys saw what those are. Tahini is a very specific flavor. And the funny thing is, the one that they slapped all the organic and did all the pretty labels on, they said was the worst. And if you go to the grocery store, there's probably only 2 or 3. If you go to like an actual market, like a world market or a Middle Eastern market or like a Saraga, they have several types. They won't let you open them and try them, but use this America's Test Kitchen. There's a good example for it. But like they said, you can use it for sauces, whatever you want. It's just sesame has a very specific flavor, especially sesame oil. Sesame oil is delicious. Okay, so let's keep going. Sunflower seeds. These are your typical sunflower seeds. Small, somewhat flat, teardrop-shaped seed. Woody with a black and white shell. Light tan seed inside. Can be available shell or shelled. And then sometimes they're eaten raw, dry roasted, or in baked goods or salads. I like these in the shell, roasted and salted. They're a great snack. It's something like on a road trip. It's great to just have these things to munch on, spit out the shells. You can buy the regular seeds. They're great to add to a salad. Sunflower oil is actually really good to fry in. It's got a pretty high smoke point, so we use it in the deep fryers next door. It's a lot cleaner of an oil than a lot of the other ones out there. It's not hydrogenated, and it lasts a long time. Like the sesame oil, you can fry in that for many days before it turns. but it's a little probably more expensive, but you get more money out of it. And your food doesn't taste like old burnt oil. So, but yeah, so those are your sesame or your sunflower seeds. I keep saying sesame. Sunflowers, as you see, if you've ever seen a sunflower before, they're giant sunflowers. They grow up to 10 feet tall. They grow around here. I don't know if there's a specific time that you get the seeds from them per se. I've never grown sunflowers. So if you're interested in it, you could look that up. But like I said, great snack. Now we're going to get into grains. These are grasses that grow edible seeds. Meal is coarsely ground seeds of cereal grasses. Grain meal and flour are used in everyday cooking. Whole grains haven't been milled. The milling process removes the germ, bran, and hull. We grow a lot of wheat in Indiana. I don't know if there's a picture of it on here, but basically when you see those big, you see the wheat growing, the harvesters come through and then they separate it. Like those machines separate all this out. So you have the hull, which is the protective coating or husk that it's in, and then these pieces are inside. You have the bran, which is the outer part. This is the part that has a ton of fiber in it. Like it says here, it contains vitamins and a significant amount of fiber. So when you get like Metamucil, one of those things, this fiber part is what actually helps you go to the bathroom. Rich in fiber and vitamin B. The endosperm, which is this thicker part inside, is the largest part, source of protein and carbs. And then the germ is contains the fat, minerals, and vitamins. And the way they do this, so say you want flour for your bread, they usually have a stone ground, so it's like two wheels grinding this together. And then the finer they do it, so we'll see in a minute that they can go it from like cracked wheat to whole wheat to fine flours. And it's all parts of the grain included. So wheat, rice, oat products, corn products, and we'll keep going through these so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so then you have the whole berry. This is a wheat berry right here. So it's unrefined whole kernels. That's the color of it. They're chewy. Like if you can cook these, but they're just very chewy. They'll use them in cereals, pilafs, salads, and breads. This is the bran. So when you have bran flakes, that's what this is. Separated outer covering a wheat kernel. You make brown flakes, and then they use these for hot and cold cereals too. They're really good for you. It's like it says high in dietary fiber. So if you eat a bowl of bran flakes and a couple of eggs in the morning, that's probably like the perfect breakfast. Okay, then you get bulgur. It's a steam dried and crushed wheat, which is right here. And they have different ones. So fine, medium, coarse. Usually if you have like tabbouleh or something like that, they have like a cracked one. So it's not tiny, but it's not huge. It's just cracked in half. So it's got a better texture for it. Tender, used in hot cereals, pilafs, salads like tabbouleh. Cracked wheat, crushed kernels. So they're just smaller. So it's like this, crushed down even more. Farina, this is what the Italians use for like pastas and stuff. So like farina flour. So it's polished medium grind wheat, white flour-like, very mild flavor used in hot cereals. And then the germ, so separated embryo from the wheat kernel. This is the inside piece. So if you go right here, that's what this thing is. Strong nutty flavor. Used in hot and cold cereals. This is all, increases food's nutritional value. All right, and this is the last part we're going to watch today. This is that was about wheat germs and stuff. The next part is about rice. So I just want to show this video on rice, and then we'll go through. This is called Rice Around the World, and then we'll finish for the day.
Over 3.5 billion people from around the world eat rice as a staple part of their diet, and we can only show some of the beloved rice dishes that exist. Let's take a look at how rice is eaten around the world. This dish stirs up a debate out of love. Jollof rice is a dish from West Africa that varies from country to country. It's popular in Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, and many others. Most jollof rice dishes include tomatoes, onions, and peppers. Choices of protein can vary from lamb to chicken, beef, or fish. Jollof rice can be served with sides, like fried plantains or vegetables. Nasi goreng is Indonesia's national dish and translates simply to fried rice. It's believed to have been introduced when Chinese immigrants made their way to Indonesia sometime between the 10th and 15th centuries. Nasi goreng is made with an abundance of spices, garlic, shallot, and a sweet soy sauce called kecap manis. Meat, vegetables, and eggs can also be added in. Some accompaniments include fried prawn crackers, salad, or sambal, an Indonesian chili sauce. In Spanish cuisine, paella is a must-try rice dish. It originated in Valencia and is best cooked in a paella pan over an open fire. Traditionally, it was made by farm laborers during lunch and eaten straight from the pan. The meats and vegetables used in this dish varied based on whatever was available at the time. Nowadays, there are plenty of variations with meat and seafood. Essential ingredients are onions, garlic, and saffron for a deep yellow stain. This creamy rice dish is an Italian staple. Arborio or carnaroli rice is the best type of grain to use. The rice is cooked with broth, butter, onions, wine, and Parmesan cheese. Some may argue that risotto is time-consuming and requires a lot of attention when cooking. But once you get a hang of the technique, the dish can be ready in as little as 30 minutes. Cam tam, also known as broken rice, is a Vietnamese dish with humble beginnings. The grains used in cam tam are considered to be broken leftovers from the drying and milling process. Traditionally, farmers from the Mekong Delta would cook the unsellable grains. Eventually, they introduced the dish to the city of Saigon, which is now known as Ho Chi Minh City. Cam tam is served with a variety of sides, like shredded pork, eggs, and pickled vegetables. This rice entree comes from the city of Yangzhou in China's Jiangxi province. Some may know the dish as house fried rice. It's made of rice, tossed with roast pork, shrimp, scallions, eggs, and peas inside of a wok. The best type of rice to use is leftover cooked rice. Chinese restaurants worldwide have kept this dish a staple menu item. India's biryani rice is a fusion of spices. The word biryani derives from the Persian word biryan and means fried before cooking. A long grain rice, such as basmati, is fried and cooked with meat, vegetables, eggs, nuts, and fruits. Depending on the region, there are countless variations and cooking methods of biryani. Puerto Rico's rice dish is also considered the island's national dish. Arroz con gandules is rice cooked with pigeon peas, pork, and sofrito sauce. It's usually served during holidays and special occasions. Jamaican rice and peas uses pigeon peas or kidney beans. Long grain rice is cooked with coconut milk, garlic, scallions, pepper, and allspice. Rice and peas is commonly served in households every Sunday. It's usually served as a side dish along with curries or jerk and barbecue chicken. Using similar ingredients like pigeon peas and coconut milk, Trinidad and Tobago's rice dish is called pilau. Trinidadians use a technique called browning the meat by adding meat to burnt sugar in a pot with onions and garlic before adding the rice and other ingredients. For extra flavor, a key ingredient to add near the end of cooking would be Golden Ray salted butter. The final product can be served wet, meaning it's on the soupier side, or dry, on the grainy side. Korean bibimbap translates to mixed rice with meat and vegetables. Traditionally, it was made with raw beef and raw egg yolk. Today, many variations exist based on choice. White rice is served with side dishes like kimchi, onions, eggs, mushrooms, and so on. Bibimbap is served with gochujang sauce for extra flavor. When visiting Louisiana, you must add jambalaya to your food bucket list. The one-pot dish is a staple in New Orleans and can be categorized into two types, Creole and Cajun. The Creole version is redder and uses tomatoes. In both versions, long grain rice is cooked with a mix of meats. Some popular choices are seafood, chicken, or sausage. Some variations include all three. Vegetables, onions, spices, and peppers are also mixed in. This rice dish is sweet. Champorado is a chocolate porridge made with glutinous sweet rice. Traditionally, tablaya or pure cocoa blocks are used, but cocoa powder makes a great substitution. In the Philippines, the porridge is commonly eaten for breakfast and served alongside toyo, a salted dried fish. It's topped with sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, or coconut milk. Tahdig is basically scorched rice. It's made from the pan-fried layer of crust at the bottom of the rice pot. Many years ago, rice was a luxury ingredient in Persia. According to legend, a single grain of rice should not go wasted or left in the pot. To achieve this, cooks would layer the bottom of the pot with bread to prevent the rice from burning. Other techniques use a mixture of rice, yogurt, and saffron, or thin slices of peeled potatoes. Whichever ingredients you choose to place beneath the rice, the end result will be a golden, crispy layer at the bottom of the pot. Munsaf is Jordan's national dish. It consists of rice and lamb cooked in a sauce called jamid, which is a fermented dried yogurt. The dish is served on a platter in layers with a base of flatbread. Rice, jamid, lamb, almonds, and pine nuts are layered on top. These Japanese rice balls are called onigiri. Steamed rice is formed into shapes like balls, triangles, or cylinders. It's then wrapped in nori, dried seaweed. Onigiri can be eaten plain or stuffed with fillings like salmon or vegetables. It makes a perfect snack for on the go. What's your favorite dish? Will you be trying any of these in our video? Let us know in the comments below.
All right, so you guys saw, let me go ahead and escape from this. So you guys saw like all the different types of rice dishes around the world. You saw that pigeon peas, beans, those are like one of the staples. Typically, if you add a bean with a rice, those are two incomplete proteins. You make a complete protein and it's a completely nutritious meal. So it's quick, it's easy, it's usually relatively cheap, and it's filling. So we'll go over more rices. There's a whole section on rices that we'll do. Then we'll do corn another time. All right, see you guys later.